Can you share with us more about that?
Absolutely. I think in my case, it wasn't so much about, feeling pressure from others or feeling that shame coming for others. It was really an internal thing. Somebody asked me the other day, they're like, when does your brain ever stop? And I said, well, it doesn't. And I think as women that it just really is, it's something that happens. We've got this mental to-do list that's in our head constantly. And, we are jealous of our husbands who can shut that off sometimes. And I think that, yeah, maybe there are some people who feel like, oh, well, my house doesn't look like hers, or her kids are crafty, they have all the things and mine don't. I know that exists. And so, I hope, and we say all the time to people, to just release the comparison game, because maybe for that mom, making those crafts is something that she really loves, and that's her creative outlet. And so that's something that really, she thrives in. I do not. And so that's not going to be anything that I'm ever going to do. But I think for me personally, it's about what pressures am I putting on myself, and taking a moment to stop and say, okay, does that really matter? Does anybody care about this besides me? Is this something that's adding value to my life or anybody else's life anywhere? Because if it's not, we don't have to do it. And whether that's cleaning my house before somebody comes over so that it can look perfect, or whether it's a career decision that, you're saying, okay, well, this is the trajectory that I've been on. And so in order to stay successful, I have to continue to work hard. And this is what this means. And it's going to take me away from my family, but I don't care. It doesn't matter. I think if we can bring the decision back to, does it really matter? Is it adding value? Is it making somebody else's life better? And especially as parents, is it helping our kids? Then those are the most important things. And we just have to let go of all the rest of the stuff, because at the end of the day, you're probably more likely to find somebody that says, hey, I think that's really awesome that you did that thing, that you were really brave for doing that thing, versus somebody that's saying, oh, I can't believe that you didn't clean your floor before I came over because I'm really judging you now.
100%. If you guys are listening out there, when you just drop some really, really good wisdom bombs out there, right? If you really listen, here's a quality questions we want to ask yourself. And that was actually the next question is, how do we start cultivating this awareness within ourselves, right? And then they think you hit the nail on the head. So the question is, does it really matter? Is this something that I value? Is it really helping the family out? Is it really helping out the kids? So in RPA, we always talk about, what is the end goal? What is the end goal as a parent? Like, we always should look at the end goals of everything that we do. So what is the end goal of going on vacation? Is it to just go to Disneyland and trying to keep our budget down? And the end goal is we just have a relaxing vacation. That looks very different than going to Disneyland. So we got to define what the end goal is. And I think you nailed it on the head, because if we don't define the end goal, then how we measure outcome, and how do we measure outcome is how do we measure success. And you wonder why we're stressed out all the time. Hope you guys are writing these questions down, because whenever we get triggered, or I don't really like to use that word, but whenever, we feel overwhelmed, we start looking at those like, does that really matter? No, it doesn't. So what that means is we can drop it. We can focus on other things that's more important for us. And then we can start prioritizing.
Absolutely. This weekend, I was hanging out with some girlfriends, and, it's fall and it was a beautiful day. And so we were trying to figure out what we were going to do with the kids while the husbands were golfing. And I said, well, we could go to the, one of the fall places, which it is great. And the kids absolutely love it. But there was going to be a million people there. Bring your kids over. I'll put some chili in the crock pot. We'll get some pumpkins. We'll paint some pumpkins. We'll be outside. They'll have fun. And we had a great time. And, the kids didn't, they would have loved to go to that place. But also, we were all kind of tired at the end of the week. And we all knew that it would be so much better if we just relaxed, and if we just said, okay, we're just going to enjoy some time together. And we don't have to have the pressure to go do the thing if the thing is going to actually add a lot more stress to everybody's life.
That was actually my next question is, can you share a personal story or a case study of a family that made a powerful shift from overwhelmed to clarity? And then that's again, you hit it on the nail of the head, that you need to define the outcome. So we went to pumpkin patch, because it's Halloween, right? So we went to pumpkin patch, and what stresses me out is I don't like waiting in line. I don't like to be in traffic. I started listing out a bunch of stuff. So what is the outcome then? Well, we love to have a good time, spend time with our kid, spend time with our friends. So why don't we go there a little bit early? So I dragged everybody up. We all got up at 6:00, but we get to the pumpkin patch, nobody's there. We had a great time, and we got back home early. We had a brunch and have a phenomenal time. And then, we slept afterwards, took a nap afterwards, right? But it's a small shift in your mindset. Once you understand your stressor, you don't have to be stressed out. Work around it.
The other example I can share from my life personally is all of this really started for me about 4.5 years ago, because I just thought I wanted to lose some weight. And I just thought I needed to change what I was eating, because I was overweight and I had a tough pregnancy and I didn't know what to do. I stumbled into a program, and honestly, I thought it was really just a diet, but our program focuses as much on mindset as it does on healthy body. And so we want to focus on the healthy mind and healthy body. And it took me a while. I was resistant at first to dig into the mindset part of it, because I'm like, I'm fine. I don't have time time for that. I just need to lose some weight. And when I finally did, I was about a month in, I'm like reading the introduction, that's a self-evaluation, and I'm like in tears because I realized, oh my God, I haven't been taking care of myself at all. And now this is like bleeding into my family and it's stressing everybody out and everything is super hard. So thankfully I had a coach and I called her and I said, oh my God, this is a mess. And she was able to talk me through it because she could relate. But one of the things that I started doing was I figured out that I have early rising kids and it was difficult for me to start the day at the same time that they started the day, and starting the day by them waking me up. Now they were still little at the time and I realized you can't always anticipate when they're going to get up, but I started by just getting up about 15 minutes before they get up in the morning so that I could have a few minutes just to be in the quiet and drink some coffee and center myself on what was going to happen. And I realized that made a huge mindset shift in my day. And so then I started getting up a little bit earlier and I just over time, kept adding 15 minutes or so. And so now, again, I have very early rising kids, so I have to get up pretty early to get up before them. But now I get up at 5 every day and I spend that first, 45 minutes to an hour feeding myself, centering myself, thinking about my goals for the day, reading some devotions, doing some journaling. And it just makes such a huge difference in my mindset and my ability to handle whatever is going to come at me from the day, because I can't control, maybe they're going to wake up on the wrong side of the bed. This morning was a complete disaster for about an hour and a half, but I know that I was better prepared to handle it. And I did handle it better because I wasn't rushed and tired and, feeling like I was behind from the second I woke up, because I woke up with them. So that's one thing that has really helped me over the past couple of years and make a pretty big shift in my mood for the day, which I know then helps with everybody else's too.
I know you cover a lot about it already. I'd love to dig in a little bit more about the mindset part, because you mentioned in the beginning, I just want to lose some weight. Mindset stuff, I don't need that. I just need to know the strategies. I need to know the how. I did this exercise. If I ate that, if I ate it at this time, then I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to feel good. I'm all good, right? I know there are a lot of listeners out there. So, I get it. It's all about we call it 80% psychology, 20% mechanics, 80% the why, the purpose, 20% of the how. A lot of people dive into the how. Can you share with us why it's so important about the mindset and your journey of the mindset? Can you elaborate more about that?
Absolutely. Well, I think it's really common knowledge for a lot of people that whether or not we realize it, a lot of our issues with food are emotional. And so if we don't dig into why am I overeating, or what are my triggers, or why is it that I can't give up that thing that I know isn't good for me, if we don't dig into those things, we can all lose some weight. There's ways to do that. But if you don't really dig into those things, it's not going to sustain long term. And so we really want to help people understand what are some of the drivers, what are some of the habits of thinking that are one kind of got you into the situation that you're in, and how can we help you make changes in those things so that you don't continue in that same mental struggle? Because you could lose the weight, but chances are if you don't deal with those things, you're going to gain it back again. If you don't, clean the stuff out of your house that really is the struggle for you, that's going to cause you to overeat regardless of, what your best intentions are. If you don't get that out of your house, you're still going to continue to struggle with that every day. It's Halloween time. Halloween candy is a great example. If you leave the bowl of Halloween candy sitting in the middle of the counter, and that is something that's hard for you to resist, you're probably going to keep eating it. Let's work on some strategies and some tools to understand, well, why is it that I'm going to that? Is it because I'm stressed? Is it because I'm bored? Is it because I'm tired? Let's start to understand those things about ourselves so that we can change those habits. And the other part of it is the habits. Our program is very much based on building habits, and we want to build those one at a time so that you don't overwhelm the system. Work on what's one thing that I can do that's going to help to create change. And then when that gets a little bit easier, we work on the next thing. Because we've all tried this, right? Whether it's your health or whether it's your parenting strategies or whatever it is. You read a book or you've done a thing and you're like, I'm going to change it all and it's going to be all great and we're going to fix it all right away. And then you get 2 days into it and you're like, that's really hard. I can't change all of those things. I quit. It's all done. I'm not doing it anymore. Cancel the gym membership. So it doesn't work if we try and do too much at a time. So we try to work on small things, figure out what's the most important. How can we do that a little bit at a time, and celebrating the wins along the way so that we can build on the progress that we're making.
Okay, live purposely, love passionately, and be the best remarkable parenting you can be. We'll see you future sessions.